Success gives you greater influence in the marketplace. And make no mistake about it, the marketplace is the primary concern for the expansion of the kingdom. Welcome to 83K Nation. Dr. Keith Johnson here, your Christian success strategist. This show is all about empowering you with the strategies, skills, tactics, and tools to help you reach your next personal, professional, and financial summits to increase your influence, impact, and income fast.
Scarcity and lack is never the mindset to the abundant life. It takes no faith to cut back and reduce back. It takes faith to say, how can I lift my standards of living by lifting the level of income that comes into my life? Because see, we always get, hey, live below your means, live below your means. But we never hear, how about lifting your means? Which way is the abundant thinker? Scrinch and cut back? Or start thinking from a higher level that if I could get more income coming in my life and my income was bigger, guess what? My income could swallow up all of those bad debts that I created. I got out of this in 3 years by just a simple thought. Wait a minute. I can't continue to think about debt. I am going to put all my energies, all of my focus on one thing. How can I get more income as fast as possible? March 16th, 2002. I'll never forget that day. I looked at my bank account. I had no money in the bank at all. I didn't have any money in my wallet. I was hungry that morning. And I sat there and I said, I'd like to have a breakfast burrito from McDonald's. As I sat at that table, I looked at a stack of bills, $180,000 of credit card debt. No money in the bank. I was hurting, I was ashamed, frustrated, ready to quit on what God called me to do. I jumped in my Cadillac that I owed $20,000 more on it than what it was worth. I was looking rich, but living poor. I jumped in the Cadillac and I scraped inside of my ashtray to get enough money to go down the street and buy myself and my wife our last breakfast burrito with the last money we had. Credit card companies wouldn't let me get another credit card because we were doing the kite thing, we were robbing Peter to pay Paul. I haven't figured out who Peter and who Paul was. I didn't have one of those in my life, but that's what we were doing. And I went down, I got us a breakfast burrito, and as I was turning the corner out of this very prestigious community that we were living in, we were living way over our heads, I saw a homeless man on the side of the road, and he said, "I work for food." I thought to myself, I'm a week away from being where this guy is. I go down, I get the breakfast burrito, I come back. And while I'm sitting there, I totally broke down. I couldn't eat my breakfast burrito. Tears are coming down my face. And a couple of you have been to our marriage seminar, and I think once you get around my wife and I, you find out my deep love for my wife. And because I love her so much, like I tell people, you got to find out your why. And I never knew my why for a long time, and it's amazing in coaching sessions. Because the church, we're so conditioned for our why. I want to make a lot of money because I want to give to the church. Well, that's like a traditional thing we say. But My why was not, I want to like give to the church. My why was, this lady saw me when I had nothing. And this lady believed in me. And I know it's my responsibility to take care of this lady, and I want her to be treated like the queen she deserves to be treated like. And I want her to have the very best of what life has to offer her. She has always been my why. Now, if you don't like that, good, I don't care. I bet you some ladies would like to have a husband like that. Come on, ladies. Everybody say, up in here, up in here. And so I looked at her with tears in my eyes, and I said, you deserve better. Why did you marry me? I wish you would have married somebody else. I meant it. And I said, I'm such a loser, such a failure. And if you know Bonnie, she's kind of like, would you call, like kind of dignified woman? She's kind of conservative, stately. Stately is the word to say. She looked at me, she says, listen to me right now. I'm like, oh boy. She said, first of all, I don't marry failures. I'm like, what other choice is there then, right? She said, number two, she says, you've just failed, and failure is not a person. Failure is just an event that you experience on your road to achieving your dreams. I believe in you, and we're going to get back up and get out of this. I'm like, wow. Pretty soon the phone rang. Ding! Because we had to pay a $1,500 payment on the house that we had, or we were out. And it was my mother-in-law. I'm sweating. I didn't know what to do. And my mother-in-law, she was on the other line, and she could tell I was crying. And my mother-in-law never heard me cry ever before. She said, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, well, Mom, we're in bad shape. We're days away from being homeless. And my mother-in-law, she has a heart a mile wide, really. She's sometimes mean as a junkyard dog, but she says, you dive deep down in there. She always likes to take in, cats that are stray and bring them in. And she said, there's another cat, I'll bring him in, right? And she said, come on in and move in with me. My wife and I sold everything we had and moved into that little 12 by 12 bedroom. It was hell on earth. Life doesn't get worse than living with a mother-in-law who doesn't like you. Come on, somebody, help me right there. But I knew I had this big dream in my heart that God wanted to use me all over the world. That I was supposed to speak. I was supposed to train others. I was supposed to be a consultant. I was supposed to be a mover and shaker. I knew God wanted to use me. But at that point in my life, nothing was happening. And then my mother-in-law didn't help. Because my mother-in-law was in the back saying, won't you get a job? Won't you get a job? And I looked around, I'm like, I thought like maybe this is my only option. Now listen to me, I want to tell you, sometimes you got to ignore the barking dogs in your life. Now I'm not calling my mother-in-law a barking dog, okay? Don't think. But when God gives you a dream, there will always be people who will try to steal that dream outside of your heart. That's right. But my revelation was much bigger than my situation. And I kept my eye on the picture of the future. God showed me that there would be a day that I would stand and multitudes of people would come and hear me speak, and their lives would be changed and transformed. And I did what Paul told Timothy, you got to war the warfare of the prophetic word that was spoken over you. And I said, no! I am not going to surrender my dream and my God-given assignment to hell's lies. And I ignored the barking dogs, and I said something powerful. I said, I will never be in this situation again the rest of the days of my life. And that day I made a decision that I was going to study the top 2% of people in the world for money. That I was going to study billionaires and learn everything they knew. And I went on my journey privately. And I told myself, I said, I'm not going to study preachers. Because, just to be honest with you, I felt like they're the ones that got me in this mess. Because the church have been masters at teaching people how to give, but we've been pitiful at teaching people how to multiply their money and develop wealth. Come on, somebody give me a clap here. Huh? And all of a sudden, when I started studying these really high level successful people, I started to see major shifts that came in our life, like really fast. I actually invested more money in myself at the lowest moment in my life. I got another credit card. I did the exact opposite of what Dave Ramsey will tell you. And I got another credit card and invested that year another $50,000 to learn how to get out of my situation fast. Everybody say fast. See, the blessing of my mother-in-law's house was it gave me the thought of, I need to get out of here fast. And all the financial gurus are teaching you, well, you know, at 19 years old, if you'll start saving $100, I ain't 19 years old. And if you start saving $100 and you wait for 50 long years, by the time you're 70 years old, you'll have $1 million in the bank. Well, $1 million ain't nothing. Today, a millionaire is nothing more than a middle-class person, high-level middle-class person. They're not wealthy. Then we got all these people, we got a survey of millionaires. Here's the new one. We got a big survey of millionaires. It's going to shock you. Who are they? Ooh, teachers are on the list. What teachers? They're all bean counter people. Teachers, teachers, accountants, engineers. I don't know. I don't think they're politicians. Engineers and lawyers. And I think I'm missing one more. But they're all like people who live like this. They're the people who don't go to the movies and eat popcorn. I don't know about you. I like to go to the movies, and I like the popcorn. Come on, anybody else like the popcorn? I like the popcorn. I like the Goobers candy. Hey, come on, anybody else like me? Yeah, I don't like beige clothes. I don't want to wear beige and a button-down shirt. No, I like nicer things. Anybody else here like nicer things? And I'm sure not going to put Bonnie Johnson, Princess Diana Jr. I'm not going to put her in a used car with bald tires on it. And tell Bonnie, go put some oil in the engine before you do your nails. Some of you get that when you get home. It's like, like. So, I don't even know where I'm at now. You guys got me all, I'm all frustrated. And so I started to find out, and here's where we're going. Started to find out that God and money love speed. You should take some notes today, because we're getting ready to dive into this. In my mother-in-law's house, I want it out fast. Man, I got to. Now, see, when you ask yourself the right questions, you start finding the right answers. Your reticular activation system kicks in, and you start looking for the right answers. But see, all the gurus give you the slow route. Scrimp, 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 scrimp. Live like a hermit. Don't spend any money. Cut back, cut back, cut back, cut back. And what are they doing? They're trying to get you to think scarcity and lack. Scarcity and lack is never the mindset to the abundant life. Scarcity and lack, it takes no faith to cut back and reduce back. It takes faith, come on now, to say, how can I lift my standards of living by lifting the level of income that comes into my life?
Dr. J here. For 31 years, I've been recording how people from all walks of life started with nothing, often less than nothing, and became self-made millionaires. This research was organized into a simple formula that takes an hour a day for 11 days to complete. Not only was this what helped me eliminate $180,000 of credit card debt while building the life of my dreams, but I'm so confident that this will work for you that I've done something special. I'm giving you a free access to the Financial Fast Track formula. While this is a $1,200 program, if you can say at the end of your experience that you now have the blueprint to drastically increase your income, you can keep the program for only $97 instead of the original $1,200 price tag. If not, simply cancel on day 12, no questions asked. Plus, you can keep the materials, just my way of saying thank you for giving it a shot. Obviously, I can't offer this special for long, so make sure you go to 83knation.com/formula and get on the fast track to skyrocketing your income today.
Because see, we always get, hey, live below your means, live below your means. How many of you heard that? How many of you heard that? Live below your means. But we never hear, how about lifting your means? Which way is the abundant thinker? Scrunch and cut back? Or start thinking from a higher level and say, wait a minute, how can I generate more income? Because if we tell ourselves the truth, you like to live where you're living at. You don't want to cut back. Am I right, everybody? You like the car that you got, you probably like a nicer one, if we're honest with ourselves, right? I don't want to drive a jalopy. I don't want to I don't want to shop at Walmart. I want to shop at Neiman Marcus. Hey, I want a nice life. You don't have to feel guilty. I give you permission not to feel guilty about that. Come on, just lift up your hand. Say, in the name of the Father and the Son, I give you permission. You don't have to feel guilty. Although the modern Christian gurus will try to make you feel guilty for that. And so I started, whoa, wait a minute. Let's lift our means. Because the truth of the matter is, focusing on debt isn't the way to get out of debt. Because now the law of focus kicks in, the law of concentration. And what you concentrate on expands in your life. So when all the gurus kept telling me to focus on debt, I went from $100,000 in debt when I knew I was in crisis to $180,000. Because I was focused on the wrong thing. Debt was not my problem. Everybody say that with me. Debt is not my problem. What is your problem? Income. If I wrote you, let me prove it to you. If I said, you know what, I feel led by the Spirit of God to give every couple here from my account $10,000 a month. I just, whoo. How many of you take it? $10,000 a month. Okay, question. How many of you would say that would solve my problems right now? Financially. Would that? Come on, we got a spirit of liars in here? What's going on? Huh? Yeah, you would have more money. Now you're like, okay, now I can pay my bills. So what did I just show you? It's not lowering you means if we could get more income coming into your life. When I discovered this, it was a game changer for us. That if I could get more income coming in my life and my income was bigger, guess what? My income could swallow up all of those bad debts that I created. And I could get out of it faster than trying to shrink back and cut back, which would have taken me a long time. Now, I got out of this in 3 years by just a simple thought. Wait a minute, I can't continue to think about debt. I am going to put all my energies, all of my focus on one thing. How can I get more income as fast as possible? And I went to town. So, Bonnie, I'm going to make it. Multiply it, you're going to manage it. So I stayed focused on that one thing. And where focus goes, energy flows. And results start showing up in your life. 3 years later, everybody say 3 years. 3 years. I didn't say 40 years. 3 years later, my life is totally different. Now, 3 years later, I built a multi-million-dollar expert empire. 3 years. No money in the bank, digging in the ashtray. My first $1 million in a year that we generated. Come on, put your hands together. Isn't that cool? Not only that, 3 years, we wiped out. 3 years. We wiped out that $180,000 of credit card debt. Come on, put your hands together, huh? Isn't that awesome? 3 years, my wife and I move in to our dream home. Man, we're talking about circular driveway. We're talking about fountain out. Shh. Now, we didn't have any furniture when we moved in, but hey, we had a house. And so our whole lives was totally changed. And here's what I want you to tattoo on your brain. This statement. It's easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than to make a lot of money in a long amount of time. See, you got folks teaching you the hard way. It's easier. Everybody say, it's easier. Come on, it's easier to make a lot of money in a than to make a lot of money over a. That's a principle. That's a principle. Because remember, God and money love speed. Remember, now faith is. God is in the what? Everybody say, God loves speed. He likes fast. His problem is you like slow. God likes speed.
The number one request we get from entrepreneurs is, hey, I love your books and teachings, but is it possible for you to mentor me? As someone who has served as a business coach and consultant for 30 years, yes, of course I want to help you. Since you visited this page, it tells me something about you. You're hungry to change your personal, professional, and financial situation. And that's the first requirement that I look for in mentoring people. If that sounds like you, I want to invite you into my private group, 83K Society. This is a tight group of 7-figure earners who are ready to scale above and beyond that, as well as people who are accelerating their way to achieving the spiritual and moral goal of success and financial wealth. We've had some amazing testimonies from people I've coached, like Martine, for instance,
who just had his first $1 million day. Matt Anderson, a 30-year-old who bought a $27 million apartment complex. Justin Kane, who just had his first $83,000 month. There's Janice Rhodes, who finally published her first book. Then there's James, who made an extra $100,000 building his consulting company. There are two ways to learn: mistakes and mentors. Sadly, in the beginning, I was all alone, learning from a lot of mistakes. But when God crossed my path with millionaire mentors, that changed quickly for me. So I made a vow that when I became wealthy, I would become the person that I needed by helping others just like you. 83K Society is all about giving you access to three important things: mentoring to inform you, coaching to challenge you, and a community to support you. Here's what becoming a mentor of our 83K Society looks like for you. You're getting monthly coaching from me at our Success Symposium. You're getting access to our 1-year Millionaire in the Making training program. You're getting access to the Success Vault, a library of trainings on the 3 pillars of success: confidence, leadership, and wealth, valued at over $37,000. You're also receiving fly-on-the-wall interviews with kingdom millionaires and billionaires. And finally, you'll be automatically approved to join our 83K Society community on Facebook. You become what you focus on. If you want to become a baker, you need to study recipes and develop kitchen skills. In the same way, if you want to scale beyond 7 figures, you need to study the wealthy. Listen, if you feel like you're going around in circles, you have to change the circles you get around. Because the fastest way to change your life is to elevate your relationships. That's why my team has created the most incredible free gift offer ever. We're going to let you have a free test drive of this mentoring experience for the first 60 days. If you'd like to continue the mentoring after 60 days, we're going to give you an additional 50% off. The investment of this membership is $83 per month, and you will be able to get in for a limited time for only $39. This is a special one-time deal for you to get in to this special 83K Society. When you say maybe today, you can have everything I just told you about for 2 full months. Click the link below, and I'll see you at the next Success Symposium.
God is all about speeding things up. You're going to see over the ages how God has been steadily speeding things up. And things are getting faster. But watch this. Money hates friction. Money loves speed, but it hates friction. So if there's any friction going on in your life, and you have wrong belief systems about money and wrong strategies about money, it causes friction. And so it's hard to get ahead. In a time, listen to this, in a time where it's easier and faster to get wealthy than ever in the history of the world.
Yeah, it is. True.
I'm going to say that again. It's easier and it's faster than ever in the history of the world to become wealthy. Ever. This is our time. This is our moment. And the king is saying, I need my kings to think right. And I need my kings to have a right plan on how to get the wealth. There is lots of wealth. More wealth has been printed over the last 2 years to the tune of $6 to $16 trillion. It's our moment. Wealth of the wicked. James said they're storing it up. For who? Somebody lift your hand and say, oh, lay it on me, baby. So there's two ways God can do that. God can do that like he did the children of Israel. He did it fast. One day they're in slavery. The next day they're walking out with the wealth of Egypt. Somebody say, oh, yeah. The second way is also applying natural principles. There's natural. Because the scripture says, first the natural, then the spiritual. So you do the natural, you exercise the natural, then God puts the super on it, and God starts changing your money. So it's very interesting, isn't it? So listen to me. There's people who are radically successful. But they're not radically successful because they're 100 times prettier than you. There's some ugly, successful people. There's some highly successful people they're not, it's not like they're smarter than you. There's some dumb, successful people. They do dumb things. You know some people do some dumb things, have a lot of money. It's not that there's super successful people who have 100 times more talent than you. They work 100 times harder than you. What is it? There's outrageously wealthy and successful people who simply know how to do it in order to get the wealth. They just have the know-how. And all you're lacking is the know-how. Not the looks, not the talents, not the intelligence. Touch your neighbor, say, there's hope for you. Come on, touch your neighbor and say, hey, there's hope for you. And so today I'm going to show you that it's faster and easier, but I feel the undertone in here. It's faster and easier, but it doesn't feel like it is. Am I right? It feels like it's what? It's harder. Now I'm going to show you, and this is the reason why you need to know the history and mystery of wealth. Because what's happening is, with people, there's a group of people who are getting it faster and easier than ever in the history of the world. But then there's another group of people who feel like it's so hard. And you know why it's so hard? It's because, thank you, Bishop. You're trying to work in the same way in the wrong age. You're trying to work in an age when it used to be hard and slow, in an age where now it's fast and easy. And that's why the same messaging is still the same from the hard and slow, because a lot of us have not sped up the speed of our learning. You got to speed up the speed of your learning in order to teach. Bishop said you got to be ahead of the puck. Wayne Gretzky, how do you get so successful? I never skate toward the puck. I'm skating to where the puck is going.
Yeah, that's it. Get out there.
My pastor friend, Pastor Jamie and his wife, we were back in the back room. Somebody says, what do you like about Dr. J? And he says, because he's always ahead of the curve, even though he's old, is what he was saying. But I'm always ahead of the curve. Why? My learning has to speed up. That's why I'm paying any price. I paid $150,000 this year to sit at the table of billionaires so I can learn. Touch a neighbor, say, pay any price to sit in the presence of greatness.